Hello everyone, my name is Godson Okorododo, and in this video I'm going to show you a new technique to get almost all your ads approved. So whether they are for affiliate products, money making products, weight loss niche, health products, and even adult products, this would work. So if you've been running ads on Facebook or you intend to, you probably already know that it is impossible to run ads for this type of niches because the ads are going to be rejected outrightly. And if you keep on trying, after several rejections, your ad account would likely get disabled. So, but with this new technique I'm about to show you, you can say goodbye to the annoying policy violations error and finally sell tons and tons of your stuff. What I'll show you is actually so simple that your ads could be up and running in the next 10 minutes. I want you to think of all the profits you would rake in when that happens. So let's dive right in. Technique 1. The first technique is to avoid Facebook's prohibited phrases. These are words or group of words that allows Facebook to flag down your ads. So you want to avoid them any way possible. The first on the list are personal attributes. This pertains to ads that speak too directly to a specific viewer. For example, are you a busy mom with no time to make healthy meals for your family? That sounds very specific. Or maybe an ad that says, are you struggling with fibroids? Here's how you can get rid of it. Sounds very direct. So Facebook algorithm can detect too much usage of you and your language to call out directly to viewers. So there are cases when the usage actually passes the review. However, it is best practice to avoid this. What you can do instead is to use stories, testimonials, and maybe your personal experience to get the same point across. So for our previous examples, you may say, the major strain on my family was nothing else but my inability to get dinner ready in time. It wasn't my fault. I worked 3 jobs and barely had free time on my hands until I discovered readydinner.com. You see, that sounds very indirect, just gets the same point across but from a very different angle. Or for the case of the fibroids, you can say, this 2-centimeter device can flush out fibroids in 48 hours. Scientists claims that it has 0 side effects and is better than having surgery. You see, very indirect but passes the exact same message across. The next thing you want to avoid is the caps lock and exclamation marks. So aside from the fact that using caps lock and exclamation marks excessively is likely going to annoy your readers instead of actually driving them to take action, Facebook policy for grammar and profanity allows them to reject such ads. So you only want to emphasize important words using your caps lock and any other thing you want to use, like the exclamation marks. Alright, the next one is sensitive topics. So some topics are actually considered sensitive by Facebook. These include health, weight loss, beauty products, religion, politics, among others. So Facebook actually closely monitors all sensitive topics. So you want to be careful when writing your ad copy for these products. So instead of focusing on pain points, you can avoid them and just focus on the results of using your product, the outcome of using your product. So instead of saying, are you tired of being fat? Lose 10 pounds this summer. You could actually say, get in touch with your tailor. Our summer fitness challenge works magic. So you see, we're getting the same point across, but from a different angle. Instead of focusing on the negative aspect, which is, someone being tired of being fat, you actually focusing on the aftermath of using your product or your service. The next one is easy money schemes. So if your ad sounds too good to be true, Facebook would assume it probably is. To run such ads, you need to be very careful of the language you use. Okay, what you should do is talk about the benefits of what you're offering and make sure it sounds very believable. So for example, make 6 figures with this new opportunity sounds unbelievable, while 5 important things the most successful entrepreneurs do is likely going to be approved. Okay, so the next one is profanity. Okay, using profanity violates the grammar and profanity policy of Facebook. So this means ads having curse words, nude images are likely going to be rejected. So you want to keep your ads clean and child friendly. Also, I want to talk about the landing page. You don't want to use prohibited phrases on your landing pages, or your ads will be rejected. So you want to ensure your landing page is as clean and avoid prohibited phrases on your landing page itself. So the next one is your domain URL. You may not already know, but Facebook reviews URLs, which is actually quite surprising for most people. So a domain URL that says getrichtomorrow.com or loseweightTonight.com will likely not be approved if that's the destination page of your advert. All right. Okay, so my last tip is actually not a prohibited phrase, it's just a tip. I say you should use coded words. Okay, some products are actually difficult to run ads for, and that's where coded words could help. These are slangs that your audience can relate with. All right, just your audience. So an example is, instead of saying get rich, earn six figures, you can say hammer, you can say blow. All right. Okay, so let me show you how that looks. So if you say earn six figures from home, your ad's likely going to be rejected. While if you say hammer like a G-boy without doing G, using this new platform, is likely going to pull through. So you want to be careful. You want to use coded words that just your audience actually gets. For instance, if you want to talk about infection, you can say yama yama. Things that are probably just known by your target audience, by your target market. Okay, so that's the end of this particular technique, but it's only the beginning. So let's proceed to the second technique. I want you to note that you can combine the two techniques if your product is actually very sensitive, like the money making niche, the health product, or maybe you're on the adult niche. Right, so technique 2 is actually using a chatbot sequence or funnel. So this way you use a chatbot to drive traffic to your offers and your landing pages. So in addition to actually helping you avoid getting your ads rejected, this method can be a true winner because it allows you to get subscribers. So when you drive traffic to your chatbot, you're actually getting subscribers that you can communicate over and over again. You can remind them to take action if they've not bought your product. You can actually send them messages on Messenger about other products you may have that you think they'll be interested in. So it's just similar to having an email list. Of course, doesn't totally remove the need for having an email list, but it's a plus if you can have people you can communicate with at any time you want without so much restriction or monitoring, like in the case of the Facebook ads. Okay, so first let me show you how it actually works. This is how the funnel is going to look like. You're going to send traffic to your chatbot, and then your chatbot is going to send traffic to your listicle. I'll explain that in a minute. And your listicle is actually created to send traffic to your offer. Okay, so I want us to start from the back. So let's consider what the offer is first. Okay, so your offer is the main product or service you intend to sell eventually. So I've put an example here. This is one of my books titled Online Business for Starters. Everything you need to launch your profit-generating internet business before noon. It's quite obvious that this product cannot be sold on Facebook. We can promote it directly on Facebook. But what we can do is to use these indirect methods I've already talked about to promote the product. If we run a direct advert, probably using coded words, the ad might get approved, but my landing page is going to have the prohibited phrases and for such a product, and so the ad is likely not going to get approved. So what I could do instead is to use a chatbot. So in order to do that, if this is the offer, I have to create a listicle. All right. So a listicle is actually a list right? It's an article that comes in form of a list, and in my own opinion, it should be splintered from your main offer. That means you should take it out, maybe a part of your main offer, so that you are sure that anyone interested in the listicle or article would keenly be interested in your main offer. So, for instance, my listicle for that product is 7 realistic ways to make money online with estimated profits, difficulty level, capital, and time to reach profit. So let me just quickly show you what the actual listicle page or article page looks like on my blog. Okay, so this is it here. So this is 7 realistic ways to make money online. You can actually see the listicle here, and I want you to take note of the bottom. I have the last list actually blanked out, redacted. Okay, so this is the one most people will actually be interested in, and then I then lead them on to tell them, okay, what the world is the number 7 business idea, and that guarantees the most profits within the shortest time frame and requires the least capital and experience. So at the end of the day, I tell them, don't worry, I'll introduce you to this top secret online business free. All I ask in return is that you claim a free copy of my ebook, Online Business for Starters. You see it? Okay, so when they click on this link, they are going to be taken to my offer page, which is actually right here. Okay, but I will come back to that. But first, let's continue our presentation. Okay, so that's for the listicle. The next step is actually to set up your chatbot. Okay, so I want to show you a live tutorial of how your chatbot should work. Okay, so you visit ManyChat.com and you click Get Started. Then you check the I agree to ManyChat terms of service and privacy policy, and you click sign in with Facebook. When you click that button, it will ask you to enter your Facebook email and password. That's if you're not currently logged into Facebook. Then the next step, it will tell you to fill the answer to certain questions that you'll be asked, including selecting the page you want to add to the bot. That means you should already have a Facebook page that you intend to use for this particular campaign. After selecting the page, okay, so let me just log in. Let me disconnect this. Okay, so here you go, we're back on. So the next step you want to take is to create a bot flow that can drive traffic to your listicle by clicking on Growth Tools. So you click on Growth Tools. So you're going to click on the new Growth Tool button up here, and you select the messenger ref URL. The reason is that you want to be able to get subscribers by them clicking on the URL. So if you click on setup here, you're going to see the URL. You can copy to clipboard. So this is the URL you'll be sending traffic to. Okay, now so let's head back to the opt-in options. Okay, so under the opt-in options, you can see the growth tool 8, blah blah blah. This, whatever is up here, is what shows down here. So if you say just a test, okay, probably it's too late for it to change, but we could click on the edit button here. Then we could enter the text we actually want the user to see when they click the link. So maybe the message we want them to see is hi first name, thank you for your interest in checking out my listicle. Okay, listicle. Okay, click get started below to view it. So we're going to click the add button icon. Under button title, we're going to add our button, our call to action button. So it could be get started. And then we'll be asked what happens when the button is pressed. For us, the major interest is that it opens a website, and we're going to paste our listicle URL here. Okay, let's just say /7 ways to make money. Okay, then you click on done. So you can actually see on this other side how it looks, exactly how it's going to appear when a user clicks the link. So when a user clicks the Growth Tool link that you just created, he sees a message saying, "Hi Godson, thank you for your interest in checking out my listicle. Click get started below to view it." Okay, don't mind the errors. All right, so you click on the publish button and that is done. That means if you head back to Growth Tools, you can actually come here and click setup and click save. Then you see your messenger ref URL. You can just copy the URL and include it when you want to run your ads. Okay, so let me show you a live example of what we are already doing. That's for the previous example we already started with. Okay, so this is an actual sequence. So here's the URL, the ref URL. So when a user clicks that URL, gets this message. So first he gets a picture and, "Hey, first name, thank you for requesting access to my trending infographic, 7 realistic ways to make money online. I'm confident that if you take the time to go through it, you work well with brand new ideas you can implement to start making money online immediately. Click get started below to see all 7 hot ideas." So the user comes, he hits on get started, and he's sent to my listicle. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so that's that. You could literally put anything you want in your message. I'm just showing you an example of what is possible, and there are a dozen other things. All these buttons here, they are not for nothing. So a lot of things, tons of things you could play around with, but that's not for this course. You could always learn a thing or two, probably on your own time. Okay, so we are done setting up our chatbot. So the chatbot actually sends traffic to the listicle. The listicle can actually now send traffic to the offer. So now the remaining step is to create the advert. Okay, so I'm not going to go into details of how to create the advert. Most likely you already know how to do that. If you don't, there are a ton of free tools you could use online. But I'm more concerned about you avoiding the policy violation errors in this video. Okay, so to create your ad, this is a sample ad copy. So for instance, what you just saw, the example we've been using, which is online business for starters, this is a sample ad copy that we could use to send traffic to the chatbot. Okay, so it could read like something like, "Are you interested in hammering on the internet? Here are 7 ways to blow, even if you're a beginner. Click learn more to read our full article." Or it could be something like 7 important things every successful entrepreneur does online. And when they click this, it takes them to the chatbot. And from the chatbot, it sends them to the listicle page. The listicle page sends them to the offer. Simple enough, right? So also here's a tip: avoid using words or phrases that are prohibited in your ad copy. So don't ensure your ad copy and your listicle at the same time, both of them shouldn't contain the prohibited words or phrases. So you have to be very tactical there. So for example, don't say "make 6 figures with this new opportunity." No. Instead say, "Are you interested in hammering on the internet? Here is a new opportunity," right? So in conclusion, I want to thank you for buying this course, not a course, just a video tutorial, and I wish you all the best on your sales. If you have any other questions related to marketing, self-development, or business, you can send me an email at hello@godsonokorodudu.com.